Now the eraser tool does just what you think it does. It erases things, and it works exactly like the end of your pencil. And here it is located right here. And when we click on it, we've got three choices on the drop-down list. The plain old everyday end of the pencil eraser tool that works exactly the same way. You have the background eraser tool, which is actually kind of cool. And then what's known as the magic eraser tool, and we'll go through each one of these and show you how they work. First of all, I don't think you need much on the eraser tool. You just bring it up here and you erase. Imagine that. You can also change how much it erases by adjusting the opacity. Let's take it down to 40%. And then as we erase, we see we're not doing a complete 100% erasure. We're only erasing down to 40% opacity on the image. Let's take it down a little further, and we can erase again and see that, it's a gradual process when you adjust the opacity. And again, these little icons right here are for Wacom tablet adjustments, which I do not have. So the other setting that you have on the eraser tool is right here. You can either do a brush, you can do a pencil, which is basically the same thing, and you can do a block. Boom, 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 and then you can drag the block however you want to do it. So I always just leave this on brush and leave it there. If I want to adjust anything, usually it's only the opacity and doesn't need a whole lot of instruction. Now, here, though, is something that's really kind of cool, the background eraser tool, and again, it does exactly what you think it does. It erases only the background. But you're saying to yourself, how does it do just the background? Well, you'll see again, it works almost like the color replacement tool in that it erases only what the crosshatch in the center of the circle is touching, and it ignores this over here. So let's take a look. Now let's say that I want to replace this background with this background. Okay, well, let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to pull this off the dock. I'm going to move it, go get the move tool, come into the image, hold down the shift key, left click, drag over, let go of the shift key, let go of the mouse, and there you have the image. I'm going to disconnect this. I don't want to change those settings. Now what I'm going to do is come to the layers palette. I'm going to rearrange these layers, and I'm going to put this layer below the top layer of Laura. Now let me reposition this here just a little bit. Oops. To about right there. Now I do have some, you'll notice I've got some dust on my sensor, and I need to take all that out, but I'm going to ignore that just for this demonstration. But don't you ignore it, okay? Alright, so let's reposition Laura. Let's put her back up here. And let's take a look at the background eraser tool. It is really kind of neat, to be honest with you. Alright, I'm going to reduce the size on this just a tiny bit. Now I've got the tolerance set at 16, which is really kind of low. I'm going to come up ever so slightly up to about 25%, and let's see what happens. Now again, we're putting the crosshatch on the old background, and we just paint. And look at that. Don't forget this little area right here. And again, this tool is not perfect. You got to play with it. You got to kind of negotiate it along. But when it does work, it works great. And that tolerance is just way too high. With every image, you're going to change the tolerance setting until you get the results that you want. And you can see right here, we don't, that's not the result we're looking for. So let's go ahead and start again. And we're going to change the tolerance setting down kind of low. And the reason we're probably getting that bleed over is because this is a black dress and this is a 155 neutral gray background, so the tint, the colors are similar, and so it's going to be a little trickier. Probably get a better result around her head and her hair. When we come into the dress, we start getting problems. So let's try it again. And it's working a lot better now. And we still got this little issue here with, you can see where the edge is really not doing exactly what we want it to. And that's why you have to play with a tolerance. Every image requires a different tolerance setting, and you might readjust that tolerance setting several times on an individual image before you get it the way you want it. And I think that's going to just about do it right there. It's about as good as we're going to get on this image. And then we can come in, go to the layers palette, and choose the background layer, get the move tool, and then of course reposition this however we want to. And so there you have the background eraser tool. Let's go ahead and start again, and we'll show you the magic eraser tool, and it's easier just to show you than explain it. All right, here we go. Left click, hold it down, drag, and then you can see that presto changeo, it erases. Now, it's not perfect. Look at this up here. It's really kind of destroying way too much, but you get the idea about how that works. I'm going to reduce the tolerance down to, let's say, 15. Let's try it again. Better. Much better. Let's try this area right in here. There we go. It didn't pick up this area, so there we have it. It's got a few splotches, and you have to come in and play with it. So it's not perfect, but it really does a pretty good job, all things considered. Well, we're not getting what we want, but you get the idea. I mean, come in, play with it, practice with it, and word of warning, every single image that you do is going to be an adjustment on this tolerance setting, always. So when you get used to the fact that you have to play with tolerance, then you won't have any problems with it at all. But there you have the eraser tools in Photoshop CS6.